Hello there, it's me, Riley. I am doing a voiceover for this video because, well, for a couple reasons. First of all, I kind of need a break from trying to find music for these videos because most of the time it works out well, but sometimes it takes a really long time, and these past weeks I just need a break, okay? The other reason is I actually have stuff to talk about this time, and, you know, I just thought it'd be a nice change of pace. But, so, this week's drawing, I kind of have been seeing everybody, you know, doing Inktober because it's October, and for the month of October, a lot of people like to do something called Inktober, which is you do an ink drawing for every day, if you don't know what that is. And actually doing Inktober would be totally out of the question for me because I don't really have the ability to draw every day right now. I've been having a lot of like problems with my right hand, which is my dominant hand, with like drawing and everything, so it's something that I can't do right now. But seeing everybody's Inktober pieces has really been inspiring me to want to do something of my own, so that's what this is. And at first I didn't really have any ideas for what I wanted to do, like beyond the idea that I just wanted to do something in ink. You know, I have some ink that I've needed to use for past classes, and I've had a lot of fun with it, so I was excited to start with it, but I just wasn't like really sure about what to draw in terms of a subject. And you kind of saw at the beginning of this video I put in all the times that I kind of had to start over because I wasn't really sure about composition or like what exactly I wanted it to be, but I kind of got there in the end. And what I ended up doing, I'm drawing my character, Silan. I've actually drawn him on this channel before. It was my very first, like, Speedpaint or time-lapse drawing that I've posted on this channel, and it was for my, what's it called, my, like, character portrait that I do every year. So I drew him for that, and this is that same character, but, this is kind of more of a Halloween-themed twist, I guess. I don't know, because in the past, I've seen people do something called Witch Sona Week, and I don't know what time of year it is, because on like Tumblr, for instance, I've seen people do it in February, but then I've seen other people do like Witch Sona stuff in October for like Halloween, and I don't really know when it's supposed to be, but back when people were doing it in February, I think, I kind of wanted to get in on that, because what a witch sona is, you basically just draw yourself as a witch, but I'm kind of weird and I don't really like to like draw myself as things. Like, I don't know what it is, it's just this weird thing that I have, but whenever there's like some kind of sona, like a witch sona type thing, I usually just draw one of my characters instead. So this was my design for Silan when that was happening, and I designed him as like a flower witch. He does flower magic. Oh yeah, these are my supplies right here. This is the ink that I use, Higgins, I guess. I don't I don't really know, but it's just what I've had to use for class in the past. And then there's also my I don't even know what kind of pen this is. It's just like a crow quill, I guess. I don't know, it's a dip pen. But anyway, yeah, so Silan does flower magic, and so he wears like a flower crown, and he's doing some, I'd like to say with this magic thing that he's doing that I had an idea of how it works, and like, oh, he's doing the Rite of Thorns or something like that, but no, I just kind of did off the top of my head, just started doodling, and this is what happened. You can kind of see there's like a rose in the middle, and those like circles that are going around it, those are supposed to be like rose thorns, and then there's like a line of petals going down, and then there's a lot of other petals like swirling around, and it's just very magical. Also, he has two familiars, I guess. Those are what the like fox things are surrounding him. The interesting thing about them is that when I was designing Silan for his witch design, I kind of wanted him to have a familiar, and what I decided to do was use one of my old characters who is like a fox with wings. I made her like way back when I was like 10 or 11 or something. I used to have all these fox characters, foxes with wings, and Cayenne was like kind of my main one, so she's the one on the top, and then the one on the bottom is another one called Kaiven. I just thought it was interesting to use like old characters, just kind of recycle them for things like this, because they're old characters that I don't really use anymore, so I just I really like the idea of doing that, just like kind of almost like an Easter egg, like, oh, you know, a nod back to my past or something like that. But so it was a lot of fun doing this piece. I don't use ink a lot, and I think if I was able to do Inktober, I would be able to have a lot of fun with it. I mean, I would definitely try and do smaller things because I'm kind of wary of doing, like, draw a big thing every day, since it's like kind of what got me into this trouble with my right hand in the first place. But I really had a lot of fun working with ink this time. I really loved the dip pen, using that, and then also using like water and brushes to do like ink washes and stuff. That was a lot of fun, you know, to get values and stuff, and that's about to happen in a second here. But yeah, it was like, it was kind of challenging because something that I struggle with, I think, in my art in general is getting it to be dark enough, because I'm always starting on white paper. I think it would be beneficial for me to start with maybe a darker paper, like a toned paper, just to get myself to go darker with my drawings, because I'm always starting with white, and like every time I add anything that makes it darker, I'm like, oh, it's so different, it's too dark. Like, I really need to get myself out of that mindset. So that was kind of something that I felt like I struggled with this drawing, because it was just so much, like, I wanted it to be dramatic, like dramatic lighting, because the rose and all the magic stuff that's happening there is supposed to be like really bright, like it's glowing, it's the light source of the piece. So I wanted everything, like, kind of as it got further away from it, to be darker, and it just was kind of a struggle for me. But something that I felt like helped were these splotches that I've just made. Like, okay, the funny thing about those is I didn't mean to, because when I first started, I made those first two splotches. Like, when I first started putting down the ink wash, I made those first two splotches because I wanted to try and, you know, like, oh, I'll drop some ink into it and it'll spread and it'll look all cool. But then you just got the splotches just sitting there and it looked weird. So later I was like, okay, this looks too out of place, so I added a bunch more splotches, and then they looked out of place, and I was like, well, this looks really messy, this isn't what I wanted, this is bad. So what they actually ended up doing was push me to make the piece darker overall, because they were the darkest thing on the page and they stood out because of that. So I needed to make other parts in the drawing darker to kind of match them and make them stand out way less. So I felt like, I don't know, it's interesting because originally they were a mistake, but in the end they really kind of helped me get to where I needed to be with this piece. I feel like I could have gone a little darker in the end, but like, it's already like more than I probably would have ended up doing. So that was kind of funny and interesting how that worked out, and I kind of am happy that I made that mistake or accident or whatever you want to say. But yeah, so I thought this piece turned out really nicely in the end. I kind of really like the composition of it. Like, that was something that I tried to keep in mind, just trying to figure out where everything would go, and I wanted there to be a lot of movement to it. Like, the character Silan, he's just standing there, like, with his arm out, and he's pretty static, but I made, like, you know, his clothes are kind of flowing as if there's a lot of wind, and there's all the petals, like, those are rose petals, all the things flying around, and also with his familiars, the foxes. I wanted there to be a lot of movement, even though he's so static. Like, I mean, not static, but just like, he's just standing there, but I wanted it to feel magical, I guess, and like something really cool is happening. That's really something that I want to work on with my art, is making scenes, like, even if there's nothing really happening, I guess, just make it seem like something bigger than it first appears. I don't know. But yeah, in all, I'm really happy with how this came out. It's kind of inspiring me to go with more completed scenes, I would say, rather than just having a character standing there smiling, you know, or like a neutral face. Just, I want to try and create more scenes in my art. So this was really a lot of fun, a lot of experimentation that I feel like paid off. I mean, there are obviously things that I could have done better, but like, for now, I'm just like really proud of this. So yes, this is how it looks in the end, and I really hope you enjoyed watching that, because this is one of my more, one of the pieces that I'm happier with. So yeah, I hope you liked it. Thank you so much for watching, and yes, I will see you in another video. Bye!